going to show you how to fit mirror finish window film onto regular double glazed UPVC windows. These are the older style windows with the removable rubber beads to the inside and the clip-in beads onto the outside. On the more modern windows you can squeegee it up to the edge and run a knife round to cut it without having to remove any of the rubbers, but either method works pretty much the same. I've already done the two outside ones. I've left the middle one to do. I've pre-cut my film so that it is just slightly larger than the window, so when these beads are removed I have sufficient to tuck under the edges to give me a nice clean line, nice clean finish. Tools you'll need some sellotape to separate the film from the backing. Easy way to do this, stick a little bit on each side of a corner, pull the two apart and you should find that the film comes away. You will need some form of spray with a very dilute washing up liquid and water, just a tiny little bit of washing up liquid and some clean water. Microfiber cloth, and to remove the rubbers I've just got some small long nose pliers, but you can use any tool that works. You'll need a squeegee for squeegeeing the glass off to get it clean. A razor blade or a Stanley knife blade or some form of blade to scrape the glass, just to get rid of any little bits and pieces that may be stuck to the glass that won't come off with regular cleaning. One of these hard edge and a rubber edged squeegee. These are easily available. You sometimes get them when you buy the film, they give you a free one. They've just got a hard edge with a curve on it on that side and a softer rubber edge there. And I also use one of these. These are generally used for vinyl wrapping cars. Again, you can get these on eBay or on Amazon. They're about £3 or £4. They have like a felt edge on one side and a hard edge on the other, and nice rounded corners so you don't dig in. And I've just got a microfiber towel for cleaning the window off afterwards. I have already washed these window frames down to get rid of all the external contaminants, because cleanliness is very important when doing this. You don't want bits of dust and hairs behind the film, you can't get them out. You may still end up with one or two little bits, it's the nature of the game, but be as clean as you possibly can. Okay, let's get started. Right, to start with we need to remove these rubbers. Like I said, already previously cleaned it. Now we've got a fly, let's get rid of him. Go on. So the way I get rid of these rubbers, I simply get these long nose pliers, push them in one corner, careful you don't break the glass, ease the rubber along till you can get hold of it, and then get the corner up, and then you can just pull it out like that. You can do the same on these, just work the corner out. Once you've got it out and you can get hold of it, the rubber will just simply pull out. Same on this one. The glass is generally wedged in with these windows, so the glass itself doesn't move. The other nice thing about taking the rubber out when you're doing these windows over the more modern ones where you can't, is when you wash the glass off, the water all drains through to the outside. So there's much less clean-up and much less wet on the inside. A stubborn one here. Oh, come on. That's got it. Right. Once you've got all the rubbers out, just put them to one side. Put them back in a minute. Now I like to scrape the glass off with the razor blade. I don't do this with the rubbers on because you can cut into the rubbers. And I don't know if you can hear this on camera, but when it comes up against a little bit on the glass, it makes like a clicking noise. That lets you know you've cleaned a little bit of contaminant off. There could be anything on there, little tiny specks of paint from previous decorations or stuff left behind by flies, spiders or whatever, you know. But it just, as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, that just scraped off of that glass, and I've already washed this window down twice. So once we've done that, we thoroughly soak the window with this washing up liquid solution. I like to use these pump up sprays, but you can use normal ones. And I like to get right in the edges there to wash out any contaminants and wash them down if possible. And then we soak the glass like so. Get a squeegee, make sure the blade is clean. You don't want to be putting dirt onto the window. And we start at the top, tucking in as high as we can to clean any dirt out that's trapped in there, and we simply go down the glass. Now, with the rubber removed, the water just drains through to the outside, which is great. Like I said, on the more modern windows with the sealed beads, the water will come onto the inside. If I get a chance, I'll do a video on how to do one of those, but for now, that's how we do. Once we've done that, we wipe our blade and we do it again, making sure we wash up in there. The key is really to get it as clean as you possibly can. It's quite a simple thing to do this. The more practice you have, the better you get at it. And the thing is not to panic and use a good quality film. There's all sorts of these films available now. The cheaper ones I found tend to be thinner and they crease very easily for some reason. And I don't know what their longevity would be like. But once we've cleaned the window down like that, get it nice and clean, take our cloth and just wipe around the edges just to get anything else off that might be there. These, I like to use these cloths for wiping without any fur and that on them, so they don't leave particles behind. And this is important, I like to wipe across the top of the frame there to keep it dry. The next job is to separate the two bits of film. So for that we need our sellotape and a piece of film. Like I said, this is already pre-cut, and to separate the film we stick a piece of tape on one corner like so, and a bit on the opposite side like so, and we peel the two apart. And if you can see, that brings the clear backing off, and I just tend to crumple that up a little bit so I can get hold of it easy like so. Right, with that separated, I then wet the glass. And you've got to get it really wet, and the sides of the frame, but not the very top. Get the glass wet at the top, but not the frame. And you'll see why in a second. Soak the glass all the way through, and the frame. Just give that a quick wipe across there. Right, the way I like to do this, I start to separate the film as much as possible, and then it starts to get a little unwieldy. So I then hold it against the frame and I stick it. It's a little bit wet on this one, not a very good example. On the top of the frame like so. I didn't have the top as dry as I hoped. Anyway, you get the idea. Stick that at the top. And pull the backing away from the film. And then allow the film to stick to the wet glass. By doing it this way and not moving it around in the air, you also help keep out any dust particles from the back. Once it's on the glass, you can manoeuvre it into place. It should slide quite easily So get that other piece of sellotape off of that corner. So we no longer need that. Get that off of there. And if we just peel that back, I'll put a bit of extra water along there so it doesn't stick. We can then manoeuvre that and slide it into place like so on the pane of glass. Right, your film is now on the glass. Once that's on the glass, I like to get this squeegee. Mine's already wet from doing the previous ones. You can use it dry or just spray a little bit of moisture on the glass, on the film, sorry. Now to lock this down, what I like to do is first go down the centre to hold it in place. And once I've got the centre locked in, I like to work my way out to the edges, squeegee in the water out as we go. We'll do the same on this side. Okay, that's the majority of the water removed from behind the glass. But there's still some that from behind the film, sorry. But there's still some there. So to lock it down properly, my film is now thoroughly wet from using that one. I get the hard edge one here, start in the middle and push to the outside to lock it in. So that we really push it onto the glass as hard as we can. And then we work our way down. I like to go side to side. You need to work from the middle out all the time and always in one direction. Don't do a bit here and a bit there. You need to constantly work in one direction. So you're working the water out from behind the film and locking it onto the glass. Like that. Once you've done that, you've got the film then locked in. I like to take my spray bottle and just spray around the edges, like so. We'll take the rubbers that we had earlier and get a piece of tissue here. I like to use a bit of tissue for this, so I don't want to contaminate my cloths. And I just give the rubbers a good wipe to make sure there's no dirt left back on them. When you put these back, you'll see the profile has a curve on one side and a little notch on this. The curve always goes against the glass, and the way to do it is just to gently push each end in first. Not too far with that, sorry. Each end in first, just so it sits there, and then the middle, and then work from the middle to the outside, like that. And that's it, the rubber is back in. Do the same for this one. Just give them a wipe. Just the two ends just to lock it, and then the middle, and just work your way out, like that. Get this one. Don't worry about the size of the window you intend to do. If it's really big, it's sometimes worth having someone with you to help you handle the film as you take the backing off, because big sheets can be more difficult. And try not to do it with the windows open. I know it keeps the mess outside, but you'll find the wind blows the film around and it can make it difficult. Not impossible, but just a bit harder. I sometimes do big, like French doors and those sort of things, open. But we just work the rubber back in to lock the glass in place. That's it, like that. Finish off, we get our cloth, and we wipe round, get rid of any dirt, just give the film a wipe over, like so. And we get our yellow cloth. Get up. I don't know if you can see this on camera. I have a little bit of water trapped behind the film here. I can see this. Now this will dry out on its own, but what we can do, if you see that, just push it to the edge. Get the hard edge squeegee. I sometimes like to use the hard edge for this. And just push it into the rubber like that. And it just gets rid of it. Simple as that. Like I say, if there is any water trapped behind the film, don't panic too much. Leave it for a few days. It dries out on its own. You're sometimes better off doing that instead of trying to constantly squeeze and maneuver, and you end up damaging the film or moving the film or getting creases in it. All those undesirable things, which if you're new to doing this, then you'll find that you will do that. And there we go. A little bit of water in there still, I can see. Just move him up. Okay, and that's it. That's the window film done. It really is as simple as that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.